All right, what's happening? What's happening? We got a fantastic show for you set up for this evening, as usual. Spent earlier portion of this evening with my son. We were doing a custom, like he's into taking figures, like 8-inch tall action figures, that sort of stuff, and doing customs with them. So he's doing a character. He's taking a Marvel figure and turning it into a Red Dead Redemption character. So I've been working on that with him. But aside from that, we're going to go into what do women want and figure out what the hell's on their minds. What do they want? All right, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Dominance Academy, where we specialize in revitalizing manhood and leadership. Our approach focuses on developing men to lead with strength and passion, enriching their lives and their families. We provide practical solutions and expert guidance in the realms of sexual education and the mysteries behind polarity and structured power dynamics. Join us at thedominanceacademy.com and restore harmony to your home while rediscovering the joy of a fulfilling masculine presence. It's time to step into your role as a leader and as a man. And now the host of the show, Mr. Justin.
Oh, there we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dominance Academy. We're going to be talking about what do women want. And, I see here, Daniel. Daniel, this is StreamYard. I think you're asking me if I'm going to allow people to come up on stage and ask questions. Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure. So you're going to have to wait in the wind for that one, buddy. So, yeah, we're talking about what do women want, and it's actually a trick question because honestly, who gives a shit? That's a trick question. Show's over. You really shouldn't care. You really shouldn't give a fuck what women say that they want, right? The only time, tell me guys, when does it matter? What time does it matter when a woman's wants matter? When is that appropriate? Anybody got the idea? Daniel, you're here. When does it matter? When a woman's wants actually matter? Nope, that's wrong. No. When she has successfully shown you her devotion, her loyalty, her willingness to learn and grow underneath your program, her willingness to follow, joyful obedience, open-mindedness, vulnerability, a willingness to not only follow your program, but to strengthen it by seeing how she can position herself to make it more efficient, make it better, to help you, essentially. Now, when this person says, there's things that I want, now you can determine if she's earned it or if it's something that's in line with the goals of your program, with the goals of your relationship. This is when it's important. That's the only time when there is 100% devotion, loyalty, sacrifice, and willingness. Anytime that's not that, if it's 99%, it's not 100. Right? You get that? If it's like it's a binary thing. It's either on or it's off. There's not like partially on, partially off. It's either on or it's off. So if it's not 100, then it might as well be 0. Now, someone could be putting good effort and working their way towards that goal, okay? And that's fine, right? As long as they're showing willingness to learn, willingness to challenge themselves, right? Because it can be let's be real. It can be a challenging thing sometimes for women who have trust issues to fully get on your program. And this is understandable. But if she's showing effort and she's doing things that will promote her growth, then this is something that you can reward. This is something you can support and encourage, right? So she feels stronger in doing this. But yeah, it really doesn't matter. Aside from that position, women's wants, you really listen to them way too much. You guys pay attention to what women say that they want way too fucking much. And it's annoying. It's annoying because the modern male has really turned into like a really whiny, complaining, sour soul, right? The modern male has really become very sour. You're like sliced lemons out there, and it's I just don't know what to do with you guys. It just makes me roll my eyes when I see so much of your activity online. It's like, come on, like, okay, you want to complain about women, all right, fine, you're right. There's a bunch of hoes out there. Like, why does this matter to you? Why is this important? Why does it get under your skin? Why is this even drawing any of your attention whatsoever? All right. And it's because you're obsessed with pussy. That's why. You're obsessed with it, you're not getting it, and you're super fucking horny. That's why. And it just doesn't make any sense. Okay? Like, you will not get what you want. You're not going to get what you want. And you're going to try all these tactics. You're going to look on YouTube like, how to turn women on by, what's her feet doing? Are they at 45-degree angles, or is that a 72-degree angle? Is she playing with her hair? Is she making eye contact? I mean, body language is important, but it becomes a problem when you are overly focused on it. When you're overly focused on body language and little subtle signs to see if she likes you, guys, let me tell you something. It's really obvious when a woman has interest in you. It's really obvious. Like, she will make it apparent. You can feel it off of her. You can feel it off of her. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been like in a dangerous situation, all right? Or you were ever in a situation where you had the feeling that someone was going to snap and attack you or punch you or like try to sucker punch you or something like that. You can get a sixth sense off of this. You can feel it. And it's kind of like that. Like, you can feel their desire for you. And it's an energy that comes off of them, I guess. I don't know. Like, our brains are always reading micro things, like micro expressions and things of that nature, picking up on all kinds of information like a million times a second, and then interpreting it beyond our conscious level. So we're constantly picking up this info and reading it. And so maybe it's a culmination of those things, and we call it vibe, and then it produces a feeling or an intuition or something along those lines. But yeah, it's pretty damn apparent when a woman wants you. I mean, sometimes they'll straight up tell you. Man, I remember this time. I was it was many years ago, and there was this bar in Syracuse, New York. And it was owned by this really eccentric dude. Like, he had like tons of money, and he opened up a cigar bar. He had this this desire for antiques and things like that. So it was just like old leather chairs with those like brass studs in them, and brass studs that were in there, and then like antiques on the wall, like old antique rugs and all this shit. It was very dimly lit, very masculine vibe, but relaxed. Okay, not stiff. Very relaxed masculine vibe. and they sold cigars there back when it was illegal to well, it's still illegal. You can't smoke in bars anymore, at least in New York State. But there you could, because they sold cigars. It was part of their business. And so, he's this weird guy, and I said, hey, can I DJ here? Because I was spinning like lounge beats, okay. And before lo-fi became a thing, I was spinning that. And so I had my equipment in there. And of course, like, if you've ever been a performer of any kinds, like, women just come for you. Like, they want to come up on stage. They want to like hang out with you, show that they're like next to the guy, who has attention of the room. And so I'm playing my set, and then I go and to collect my payment at the end of the night. And this girl, Sue, and I remember her. Sue, oh my gosh, she's so fucking cute. Like, tiny, but not bony, right? She's just small framed, but had like great proportions. Cute little face, had like naturally like sad-ish looking eyes, but beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And I know that she had just broken up with her boyfriend. And, because like circles were kind of small, they all crossed over. She was not in my circle, but like my circle crossed over with hers. And I'm getting my payment from the manager, and she walks over to me and she's like, Justin, I've been watching you all night. I want you to take me home. And I look at her, I'm like, fuck, I really, really want to take you home. I really did. And I think back now, I'm like, man, fuck my friend. I should have just taken her home. But her ex-boyfriend was a good friend of mine. And I knew he really cared about her. And they weren't really broken up. They were just like in this rough patch where they're like, I'm not talking to you, like that sort of bullshit. It wasn't a real breakup. And because they routinely had done this, they break up, get back together, all that bullshit, like over and over. So I knew this was just one of those. And she knew me as like, one of those guys, like, that you fuck. That's what a DJ does. And so, she comes up to me. She's like, I want you to take me home. And I'm like, baby, I would love to do that, but I'm too good friends with your boyfriend, so I'm sorry. And she looks at me with those like big pouty eyes. I mean, she had these enormous brown pouty eyes looking up at me, because she was like, I don't know, at least like 8 inches shorter than me. And she's looking at me. She's like, you sure? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure. Oh my God, I should have fucking railed her. But I'm just saying, it's like when girls like really want you, they will. I mean, granted, that's not typical, right? Typically, women they're not that overt with their advances, but it will still feel the same. It just won't come out of their mouth in quite the same way. And but they make themselves known. They definitely make themselves known. A fairly large body count. You never forget the ones who say, I must have you. Tremendous occurrence. Yeah. Well, and it's not like it feels any different, but like on the receiving end, right? Because whether she says it or not, their desire comes through. But when they say it, it's like an interesting occurrence, because they're allowing themselves to go to that place. They're allowing themselves to be that free and allow their desire to really just take control of their vocal responses. So yeah, that's very cool. I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, that song was getting repetitive for me. Anyways, so what do women want? They want masculine men, guys. It's that fucking simple. Okay, what do masculine men do and not do? They don't mince words. Masculine men don't mince words. They keep their communication fairly simple and direct, clear. And what this does is it prevents misinterpretations. Okay? They show women what they want. They either show them or tell them. So they're direct and they know what they want, and they can easily communicate what they want. Okay? Women like that. They can't, Well, I was just about to say they can't stand when they don't know, but at the same time, they do like it when they don't know, just a little bit. Okay, so if you know what you're doing, you can kind of like play the balancing beam act, where on one side is knowledge and the other side is lack of knowledge. And when you play this balancing beam, it kind of drives them wild, you know. And my, my- I'll see my girl and she'll be like, "Daddy, why are you being so mysterious?" Right? And she like started looking at me weird, and I could see her mind start like ticking away, like trying to figure me out. And I'm not doing anything. I'm just talking less, you know. But so yeah, the guys don't mince words. Like men don't mince words. They say it like it is. They're very direct. They really don't. mm, yeah, they don't beat around the bush, and they don't pander to the feelings of others. Now, this is not to say that to be a man you must be rude. This is not what I'm talking about. Because people will think like, okay, so if I'm not being nice, that means I have to be an asshole. This is not the case. It's not like either or. Okay, there's a place where you can be very direct, you can be assertive, you can be upfront, you can be very clear cut, but you're not rude about it. All right. So you can give your opinions, you can give your thoughts, you can share your desires, and not be an asshole about it. Okay. And if you're good, you can actually make this smooth. All right. But this takes practice, this takes skill. But it doesn't take skill to be direct. You just have to stop filling in with the bullshit. Okay. So, masculine men, this is what they want. They also women, they really can't stand repetition. Now, it would be an exception, say, if their father was very regimented, and like a client of mine, okay, he's a single father, and he is very regimented with his life. They're the two of them, it's just the two of them. The mother is not in the picture. They eat the same like 5 or 6 meals every single day. So they have the same food. Like once she was like old enough to eat like regular food, eating the same foods. It's like chicken and rice, pasta, meatballs, steak and potatoes, like just really simple stuff, and they just keep doing it again and again and again and again. She's every day she's like going to judo, she's going to jujitsu, she's taking this class, she's taking that class, and it's very regimented. So and he's very direct. He's a very loving father, but he's very simple, direct, concise with her. And so she's going to grow up with understanding that this is a great way to operate. Right? She's going to respect this, probably look for or desire or feel most comfortable in this sort of situation. Okay. And now it'd be interesting to see how she grows up, because I know that women really like variety. So it'd be interesting to see how, if someone grew up in a very regimented type life, if they enjoy the excitement of variety. By and large, women love the excitement of variety. Okay. If you are just the same guy, does the same shit, who fucks the same way, kisses the same way, talks the same way, does the same things, like thinks about the same shit, you're never learning and growing yourself. So you have nothing new to share, or nothing new to show. She's going to get bored. All right. Men are constantly seeking. They're constantly seeking to learn themselves, seeking to learn the world. All right. And learn new crafts, new skills, new understandings. And so, and seeing different things. All right. So like, even if you're not, say, in the financial position to travel the world, you can travel in different places of your mind. You can travel in your hometown. You can do all sorts of things to create variety in your life. Women love variety. If that sounds like a struggle for you, or that sounds stressful for you, well, just understand woman's going to get bored. Now, it's not to say you have to be her entertainment. All right. because you should already be seeking the world this way. You should already be seeking yourself this way to learn and grow and understand. And then she will just see that and go, ooh, that's exciting. Look at that. That's really interesting. I like that. Okay. So they like this. They don't like boring guys. All right. But of course, simps will hear this and they'll go, "Oh, yeah, I gotta be more entertaining. I gotta learn how to tell better jokes and learn how to flirt better and all that stuff." It's like, you misunderstand. You're doing it wrong. He has to be strong of mind. Okay, if a woman believes that she can manipulate you, then you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. This will drive down respect faster than you can even understand. Women want a man that they cannot manipulate. They want a man that they cannot fool. They want a man who's mentally sharp and has mental fortitude, mental strength, such that she cannot play him. And just think about that, like from the position of the woman. And women are clever. They're very, very clever. They're slick. Okay. So imagine, you could imagine being a woman and you're this guy and you haven't figured out. You can do this and he moves there. You do that, he does this. You do that, he says this. And you like start to see a pattern. You're like, oh shit, like I can basically control this guy without really doing much of anything. I wonder what would happen if I said I wasn't interested in having sex with him tonight. Let's just see what happens. Right? She doesn't give a shit. She just wants to see. She's already lost respect. And then it's like, whoa, okay, all right. I've got like a puppet on my hands. This isn't fun. This isn't exciting. This doesn't make me wet. How can I be excited over a puppet? All right? So this is a very important point. Women want a man who has mental fortitude, who is at least as sharp as she is, at least as clever as she is, or at least has the defenses such that she cannot outsmart him, outwit him, or fool him or manipulate him. Okay? Now, what's the fastest and easiest way to go about this? Two things. One, keep your emotions in check. Once she sees that you have emotions and you let them out, it's like blood's in the water. Even if there's like no strain between the two of you, right? She just starts lapping it up. And at that point, now you've shown her that that it's there. And this is her world. The world of emotions and communicating in and of emotions. This is her universe. And you're stepping in as a visitor. So be prepared, right? Because if strife does happen, she will take you for a ride. Okay? So it's the emotions. Keep that in check. And the other thing to keep in check is your sexual desire. It's your lust. Once she can tell that your lust is controlling your decision making, that's when she's got you. And this is for the vast majority of dudes. This is why women are bored with men. That's why they say, like, what are those stats? Like, the vast majority of guys on, say, dating apps, they're just not attracted to because they know them. They already know them. They look at the profile. They look at the look in his eyes in the photos, and they can see you. They already know you. They put you in a box because they see you 1,000 times before. 1,000 times. And they're like, this guy is, he's a nice guy. He's a simp, I can control him with my pussy. I can control him with my body, my tits, my skin, my hair, just having access to touch me. So having control of those two things. Now, it's also a balancing act, okay? Because if you are completely tamped down if your sexual desire is completely tamped down, now she feels undesirable. Okay. So it's this balancing act. It's this balancing act here between controlling it, but not shutting it off. All right. Control doesn't mean dead. Control doesn't mean completely shut down or stuffed in a safe. Okay. Control just means under control. All right. Like if I've got a sword and I pull it out of the sheath and I know what I'm doing, the sword is under control. I can do with it what I want. Excuse me for just. Pardon me. Sorry about that. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. So the balancing act. The balancing act is because she also wants to feel that you can devour her. Right? So it's almost like, in one way, that thing that like Peterson was talking about, right? Like the be the monster, like the controlled monster. Okay. So it's like, you ever see like a tiger in a cage and it's just like pacing back and forth behind the bars? It's kind of like that. Whereas like, yeah, I could open this gate and just ravage you. Okay. But I'm not. Right. So it's there, but it's well under control. And I can unleash it if I want to, if you're good. If she's good. So yeah, that's another thing. All right. Having that mental fortitude, control of your emotions, having control over your lust. These are good. On a surface level, you don't have to be an Adonis, but like, my God, guys, like, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself just like a little bit. Okay. Like your clothes should fit nicely. Okay. Like don't wear like ill-fitting clothing. Like it just looks shitty. It looks shitty. Women are attracted to men who know how to dress well. All right? Because yes, women are egotistical. You know what? Everybody's egotistical. So when they see a dude, all right, immediately, if they're initially attracted, they're already imagining being with him, like in life or sex or doing something together or whatever. She's like just running through like those projectors, you like press the button and it changes the picture, press the button, it changes the picture. Like grandpas will like do this, like, hey, let's look at the trip back from 1952, right? So yeah, so okay, all right, so running like a projector and they run through these ideas like really fast. It's just like these flashes of visions being with this guy. And so taking care of your appearance matters. All right. Now, you shouldn't do this for the sake of women. I'm just letting you know that this is what they like. The problem is, in knowing what they like, guys will tend to do the things so that they can perhaps gain better favor with women. And this just doesn't work out. This is just bullshit. So you can't do it for a woman, right? Like, look good because you want to fucking look good. So when you look in the mirror, you're sitting there going, hey, look at that fucking sexy motherfucker, right? This is what should happen. Like, you should appreciate what you see. If you don't, do something about it, right? Vocal intonation. If learn to relax your voice, right? Like, there's something about like talking like this, like, hey, right? You got like energy and brightness in your voice, and your vocal cords are really tight, right? And that's good for certain things, right? But it also benefits you to be able to relax, Relax your vocal cords. Relax into yourself and learn how to talk with a little bit of bass. Relax your vocal cords. And I've got a client who just really struggles with this shit. And a lot of times, people's voices, men and women will do this too. They'll 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 uh they'll bring up the pitch of their voice to feel less threatening. And they'll do this without thinking about it. I noticed this with my woman. I've noticed this with other women. And if you've been around women enough, you'll pick up on this, or you're already aware of this, about how they will shift their voice when they're in certain instances where they're able to feel more feminine or small, or they have to ask for something, or they're feeling more vulnerable, or what have you. Their voices will get softer and maybe an octave higher. And or like when someone's asking for something, right? They'll come to you, and they'll often raise your voice, like, "Hey, boss, I was thinking about if I could get off work early today. My family's getting together, and I'd like to leave work 2 hours early." Right? Like raising the voice because it sounds friendlier. All right. Now imagine that you're afflicted with nice guy syndrome. You're afflicted with nice guy syndrome. So you already are afraid that people don't like you. You're already afraid that people don't like you. So from this point, you're going to be naturally raising your voice because you want to make yourself more friendly, more approachable. So would women be attracted to that? No. Your voice, let me tell you this. I would say that your voice, just the tone of your voice, is even more powerful than the fitness of your body. Now, you younger guys probably like, nah, fuck that. No way. I'm telling you, there's a reason why someone like Barry White had so much power. Like, why his music has so much power. It's he had a very unique and very deep voice. Now, I'm not saying to push your voice to be lower, all right? Like, don't go like force your voice down, okay? Just relax your vocal cords and allow the resonation to come from your chest rather than your throat or up in here with your nasal, right? Relax it down, right? And there's some videos on YouTube about how to, for singing, because when people sing, they have to bring the sound up and down depending on the notes or whatever, but you can learn how to bring it down into your chest so that things are resonating from here rather than up in your head, right in this passage. But anyways, women like a deep voice. They like a deeper voice, right? We don't have to be fucking Darth Vader out here, but they like a deeper voice. It shows relaxation. It sounds relaxed. It sounds confident, right? It feels safer and maybe a little bit dangerous, right? Because if you imagine a villain, like look at all the villains from movies and shit like that. They're not sounding like Steve Buscemi. You know what I'm saying? Darth Vader, right? Darth Vader's voice, right? They brought in James Earl Jones. Like the dude's voice is crazy deep. Thanos, deep voice. Okay, what's another like famous villain? I don't know. But famous villains always have deep voices. I mean, except for like Cobra Commander from the 80s G.I. Joe show. He had a very high voice. But Destro had a crazy deep voice. And he was another villain from that show. So know that the tone of your voice is extremely powerful, very, very impactful. And so you can convey a lot just by the tone of your voice and your look, your gaze. All right. So this is another thing that masculine men do that women love. They love a strong gaze. Now, the strong gaze it's there, but it's relaxed. So it's not an intense gaze. right? You know, like, right? Hey. No, it's just strong, right? It feels grounded. It's solid. Oh man, that'd be funny. Like you're fucking high on like tons of cocaine. Hi, I'm Justin. Pleased to meet you. Anyways, so yeah, you want to have a strong but relaxed gaze. All right. Kind of like that tiger who's pacing behind the cage, right? It's the same sort of thing, you know. It's a relaxed intensity, strong. And so you could say one thing, right? You could say you look fantastic tonight, and it changes. Like it feels completely different to her, right? If you're like, you look fantastic tonight, right? And you see like have a higher energy, a little more breath in your voice, brighter look in your eyes. It's got like a higher, like flightier energy. Okay. You know, versus like something that's a little bit more relaxed, more grounded. It's like on the ground. You're like, you look fantastic tonight. And that's a completely different feel when you're gazing directly into her eyes. And if you wanted to add a pause, you look fantastic tonight. So that will, if she likes you, then it's like that pause is going to be like, wait a second, he's going to say something terrible, right? And then you can fuck with her and say she doesn't look good. But that's manipulative. That's being manipulative. Too much. Oh, Homelander. He has a range. Yeah, because he's psychotic. So, you know, Homelander has a range. But yes, his voice can get deep. But he can also be very high up. He's all over the place. Homelander's a great villain. I can't wait until he dies. He's such a fuck. He's like one of those characters. You know, there's good writing and good acting when you come across a villain in a show or a movie and you just can't wait for them to die. You're like, this motherfucker, he's going to get it, but I can't wait. I know how he dies because I read the comic, but it's going to be good to see. Anyway, so yes, your intonation is extremely important. All right. But again, don't do this shit for the women. Like that just makes you weak. Like you shouldn't do any of this stuff for women. I'm just letting you know what they find attractive. All right. Strength, mystery, confidence, a deep voice, a decent appearance. All right. Control of your lust. Not being able to be manipulated. Okay. Like all of this is coming together. Right. I hope this is making sense for you. And then what this does is it provokes the girl, you know, if she likes you, it provokes the girl to try harder, right? Because it, for the most part, you know, like the guys that she's used to, they already show all their cards, right? They very much just easily show their cards and like, okay, this is what I'm about. I really like you. I want to fuck, right? Even the guys who are just like straight up, they're like, yeah, like let's, you know, I'm attracted to you. You seem attracted to me. Like, let's just go to my place, right? Like that's boring. It's boring. Women love a story, right? They don't. There's no fun in the story to her friends, even if it's a good lay. Of yeah, I went out last night, you know, with some friends, and I met this guy, and he was, you know, really cool, really sexy, and you know, we just like he was just very straightforward, and yeah, we just got together, we went to a hotel or took me to his place, and we fucked. Like that's not a great story. Women fucking love narratives, right? I've told you this multiple times. They read all kind like the literature that's porn for women. Okay, a women's like the woman's gaze. I was watching this other channel. I forget her name. I really want to Victoria something. My leatherless life or something like that. Oh, I can't remember what's the name of her channel. She's really great. She's got a fantastic channel. Really educational. She knows her shit when it comes to sexuality and My Non-Leather Life. Yeah, check her out. Victoria, her name is. My Non-Leather Life. She really breaks down some awesome concepts. Especially like for guys to understand women better. So, and coming from a female, it lands really good. So, but she's on point. She's absolutely on point. So, yeah, I'm trying to get her on my channel so we can talk because she's just very well read and experienced, and you could tell she knows herself. But shit, I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. But anyways, like the books, right? So it's like on one hand, women need to watch porn. They need to watch porn so they get a feel for what guys lust after in terms of female behavior, as far as like sexuality goes, right? Enthusiasm, like sexual enthusiasm, open-mindedness. I'm hungry for it, right? Like that's typically what guys would like to have in the bedroom, right? And women, it's all the things that are in those books, all the things I just described, right? A smart guy, well dressed, or at least just very presentable in his own style. He's got a nice voice. He takes care of himself. He's intelligent. He can't be fooled. He's calm. He's sexual, but he has his sexuality under control. He looks, I guess, strapping enough, but not necessarily having to be like a strong man, right? Or a bodybuilder or something like that. And he's adventurous. He likes variety in his life. He's witty, and he can get into her emotions. He can get into her head. All right. And this is where a woman's pussy lies. It's in her head. That's where it is. It's not between her legs. Like, women are actually upside down. Did you know that? Their pussy is in their head. And perhaps their head is in their pussy. I don't know. But yeah, they're inverted as far as sexuality goes. What do we have here? Money Mitch, watched your videos years ago. Good content. Yeah, she's a smart cookie. She's still plugging out content or putting out content. So, but yeah, so those books. This is why I'm telling you guys to read those books, because then you can understand the fantasy side of women, of what moves them emotionally. All right, and I'm not saying that you should act. Okay, but you should have this understanding so that you can, perhaps implement a little bit of this into your life. And it works by, like I've told you guys to do many times before, is the reading and the writing. Reading these books, writing your own erotic short stories, writing your own erotic poems, because this gets you in tune with your sexuality on one hand, and then on the other hand, it starts filling up your mind with a bank of material, much in the same way that a friend of mine, he wanted to be a battle rapper. Like, it was just a huge passion of his. So he was constantly writing. He always had a notebook with him, and he always carried a rhyming dictionary and a regular dictionary with him. And he was always going through it, just constantly filling up his head. And so by the time he got into his cipher, he was just able to just spit out streams, like lines that he had written and strings of them. And then he pieced these strings together and, put in fillers and all this stuff. But it would all just come flowing out naturally, not as a remembered set or something like that, but it would just flow out of him, these connected strings. And this can happen with you too. So it's not like my friend was acting when he was doing this. He was just preparing his mind. He was filling up the cupboard, so to speak, so that he could just produce out of it whenever it could be produced. And it was just very natural and organic. So it's the same sort of way. So if you don't have a bank, if you don't have an understanding and an imagination that's been built up and crafted with a bunch of imagery and words, then it's going to be extremely difficult to communicate. Wouldn't you agree? Like communication, yes, it's something that we just do regularly. Okay, we do this regularly every day, right? We talk to people, yada yada, just bullshit. Okay, but at the same time, communication is an art form. Okay, like it clearly is. I'm not just calling it this. Like we have poetry, we have singing, we have storytelling. So verbal communication is an art form at the same time of just this very utilitarian thing that we use as human beings. So treat it as such. If you want to be a good communicator, you need to learn the skills of communication. And there's a lot of different skills out there. Right? It would be helpful for you to learn about sales. Like I was doing some research about the verbal sales process and people who are really good closers, and the things that they were talking about. Like this one guy, I don't even think he has a course, but he's so fucking good. It's wild watching him in action, and he just weaves through like whatever it is the person's saying and gets them to want what he wants them to want. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, it's for sales, but like I can imagine that the same sort of concepts can be utilized to talking to anyone, including women. All right. So I've been researching that sort of stuff mostly for my own sales, and it's helped tremendously. So it just opened my eyes more to the even more skills and more things. And this is what I was talking about. Men, we're always learning. We're always expanding our minds. We're always challenging the things so we don't become stagnant. One of the worst things, okay, for a woman is to look over after she's been with her man for a while and he's stagnant. He's like like a mushroom growing on a log, right? And he's just doing nothing. He's been like, all right, great. Like his rank is really high in COD. And that's about it, right? He's drinking beers or smoking joints, right? He's all up to date on his fucking One Piece episodes. I think there's like fucking 500 or 2,000 episodes of One Piece. Is fucking insane. Um, but he's all caught up with that, you know, and he's just like, bleh, out of shape. This is one of the worst things, right? To look over at her man and see just a pile of fungus, right? Don't be a pile of fungus. Like you have to keep moving, growing, challenging, learning. Again, not for her sake, for yours. All right. But when you do it for your sake, she'll appreciate it, right? She'll find that interesting. She'll find that intriguing. She'll find it attractive. Okay. But again, don't do this for them. You have to get it out of your head. Like none of this crap has anything to do with them whatsoever. Okay. I'm just letting you know the things that they like. Right. So it's kind of a weird thing because if I tell you what it is, now you're aware of it. And now it's hard to be unaware of it. Okay. But just try to keep yourself in check. All right. Use that hatchet on yourself. Daniel got a nice question here. Other dating coaches like Listen Macario or ARC promote being that direct. Yes. In the first few minutes, you should let women know what you're up to. But I think plausible deniability is better. Plausible deniability meaning, see, this is the thing. Okay. Women know that when you're coming up to them, you're sexually attracted to them. Okay. It doesn't make sense to use plausible deniability. Like, no, I'm not interested in fucking you. I really did come over here to ask you about that book. Ha 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 ha. No, they know you're fucking lying. They know you're lying. So, on one hand, yes, you can absolutely be very direct with what you want. Okay. So, the thing is, though, is that for me, I know that they know that. All right. So, if I'm going up to talk to them, it's known before we even say anything. So, do I have to say it? No, I don't have to say it because she knows I want to fuck. And I know that she knows I want to fuck. Okay. However, at the academy, we don't let our desire for fucking to control us. I'm in control of everything. What I'm really interested in is her desire to fuck me. Right? Because once you know, I keep saying this, once you know someone has a desire or a need, you now have leverage. All right. You don't want to be the one who is leveraged. So when you come in and you're saying, I'm attracted to you, I want to fuck, you have the thing that I want. Now she is in the point of leverage. She can now decide whether she wants to give this opportunity to you or not. All right. It all depends on how you frame your mind, how you see yourself. Okay. So I understand that I have leverage. Once we start interacting, I'm the one who has leverage. All right. Again, I've seen what happens to women when they have an orgasm. It's way more powerful than the most powerful male orgasm. Right. So what I can do far surpasses what she can do. I don't care how good her head game is. Okay. I can make her pass the fuck out. I can make her leave her body. All right. So there's no comparison. So from the jump, I have more leverage. All right. But she knows I'm sexually interested. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to her in the first place. All right. But I'm over there trying to determine the level of her sexual attraction and her level of desire. And then I can then have fun teasing that up and down. Again, with my ability to communicate. Like I said, the art form of communication is extremely important, right? It's not lines, it's knowing how to maneuver while they're talking and how to use certain phrases that will bring out opportunities. They'll create windows for you to go through and then move. Just like that salesman. I think I saved some of his videos. He's really fucking good. But it's like I just want her to start talking so that I can start leading. And I can start guiding the energy and flow of the conversation. And from that point, I can choose then to seduce her already desired emotions and her arousal. Right. So I'm not of the school thinking of I'm going to seduce a woman who's not that into me. I don't care about that. Like that's too much work. All right. I very much like to take someone who has interest and then seduce them to an even higher interest. Or if they're at high interest, I want to seduce them to an even higher interest than that. By playing with that feathering their desire, right? Push, like I guess they used to call it push and pull, but I don't do it in the same sense that the pickup artists do. But this is where I would seduce. All right. I don't want to seduce somebody who's not interested in being seduced. All right. That takes I want to have fun. Right. And I want to be with somebody who wants to have fun as well. That's where I want to spend my time. So again, she knows I want to fuck. Or she knows at least I'm sexually attracted to her. Because really, I'm not one to say oh, I want to fuck. Right. Because like I said, things are under control over here. So, but there's sexual attraction. Okay. So she knows I'm sexually attracted to her. I know that she knows. So what's the point in me saying I'm sexually attracted to you? Let's fuck. She already knows. What I want to do is I know that she likes the power of narrative. She likes the power of being brought into a story. She wants to feel like she's living one of those romance novels. I mean, of course, not to that degree of fantasy, okay? Because who lives like that, right? We're not Clark Gable or whatever, Gone with the Wind and all that shit, okay? We're not Indiana Jones. But you can evoke similar feelings. They want to feel immersed in a story. All right. This is why learning to storytell through writing your own stories and reading stories, especially romance novels and erotic literature, can help you be able to communicate artfully. Okay. Now you might be thinking, "Oh my God, that's like so much work, right? I just want to get laid." Well, this is the problem. Your desire for sense pleasure is preventing you from being a fully expressive man. Okay. I'm just seeing if I can determine whether she's good enough to fuck. If she's if she can be bestowed, with my abilities, my knowledge, my ability to give her pleasure. Like this is what I'm determining. Okay. Like, and it doesn't matter if she's not interested or whatever, she doesn't like my offer or where I'm taking the story or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? Because there's no power. She has no leverage. Okay. So when you remove the power of the pussy out of your mind, you then alleviate yourself from tons of different mental ailments that come as a result of that. All right. Now, I know you guys have been, oh, that girl's so sexy. Like you go talk to her, all right? Maybe you're at a party or something and she shows a lack of interest and she, whatever. And she like goes back to looking at her phone and you're like, fuck. Right. And then you feel bad about yourself. Why do you feel bad about yourself? It's because you wanted something from her and she said no. And now you're feeling hurt from being denied. And the denial says something else, but more so to your subconscious, like you're not good enough. You're not attractive enough. You're not this. You're not that. You're a piece of shit. Whatever it gets processed in your subconscious about yourself based on her just saying no, right? Or no, thank you, or get out of my face. Now, if you did not have that, if you didn't have this pull by lust, right? You didn't have this pull from the magical land of pussy, just like pulling you in. If that wasn't there, then the communication, if it doesn't go the way you were intending, then it doesn't matter. Nothing's lost. The only time you've lost is because you were invested. Your lust was invested. Your lust was invested. So shout out to you guys in the chat. Uncle Guns, my first moderator. Appreciate you, man. Daniel, see you, man. Money Mitch, King Solar Power. All right, and the rest of you who are watching, appreciate you guys, and I appreciate those of you who are catching this on the live, on the replay. So, yes, so it's fine to be direct, but I'm a creative, right? I have been an artist my entire life. I have done so many different things, from music to multiple forms of visual arts, martial arts, dance. I've done just about every area of creativity. And communication is just another one of them. It's just something fun to develop and learn. And once you start, just like any other art form, okay? Like you start out drawing, it's gonna suck. Like I sucked for so long. Okay. And I sucked for a very long time. And it was a pain. I was doing fucking stick figures and shit, right? As a little kid. And I just got better stick figures, right? After a while. And then it just started getting better and better as I learned more about form and light and volume and all sorts of different principles and started copying the masters and things of that nature. And now I can just express myself, right? It's now it's like not I don't even have to think about it, right? It just happens. So all these concepts of like lighting and angles and all this shit, texture, I don't consider them. They're already in there and they just kind of come out. So it's the same sort of thing with communication. In order to become a good communicator, you have to actually practice the skills to become a good communicator. And talking to women is one area where you can do this. Let me see. I can show you a painting that I just finished. Where's Photoshop? Okay. Whoops. Yeah, so this is a painting that I did recently. It's for a book cover. Yeah, it's for a book cover. So I'm making like zoom in here. So these are, whoa. Yep. So it's an anthology book for pirate stories, but it's like all kinds of pirates. So like old pirates as well as like sci-fi pirates, right? Space pirates. So this is like some dude who's in between, right? He's in between the old and the new. But yeah, so this is a cover that I did. Finished it just today. But I didn't show you that to like, really like show off or anything like that, but just to illustrate, pardon the pun, that with practice, you can, like, I wasn't always creating this that good, that easily. Like that took me about 5 hours to do that. Okay. If I go back 20 years ago, that would probably take me fucking, I don't know how long. I probably would have gotten so frustrated with my skill, I would have given up and said, fuck this shit, and like kicked it over. Right. But this is how you need to treat your communication. It's got to be the most important thing, right? Because it's the connection that you have. Okay. Your appearance, yes, it's great. All right. It's great to have a well put together appearance. Women love a man who can dress himself well, who wears clothing well, whether it's a t-shirt and jeans or it's a dress shirt and slacks, right? Yes, that's appreciated by women. But the thing about communication is that it takes this and connects with her. Your appearance, while as much as she might appreciate it, it might even turn her on, it doesn't connect her to you. She can't feel a sense of connection. She can feel a sense of connection through your communication. This is where the magic lies. So you dudes are spending, like, why don't we ever hear like flirt maxing? Why don't we ever hear communication maxing or mouthpiece maxing? Why don't we ever hear that? Because it's fucking hard. It's not hard. I mean, unless you're the laziest fuck in the world, it's not hard to go to the gym. It really isn't. You download a fucking few exercise programs, you stick to it for 3 weeks, you change to another one, stick to that for 3 weeks, go to another one, stick to that for 3 weeks. You keep your food on point and you fucking exercise regularly. Eat less and you'll be in good shape. All right, unless you're trying to put on muscle because you're a skinny bastard and you need some more muscle, then you need to eat more, okay? And you're getting rest, vitamins, okay? It's pretty straightforward. Do this, do this, do this, be consistent about it, and you'll see results, okay? So that's why people are like, yeah, like looks max. All you got to do is just pull out your credit card, pull out your debit card, pull out some cash, boom, you've just changed your wardrobe. Right? Learn a side hustle, get a better job, boom, there's your better bank account. Okay? But this doesn't exactly draw women to you, right? And these things are quite easy in comparison to your mind and your communication. Yeah? That's why you never hear mouthpiece maxing. Because first of all, you can't just like look it up online. And if you do, you're going to get a fuck ton of incorrect material. You're going to get a lot of incorrect material. You're going to get stuff from like very well honed manipulators, which is not what good men communicate with. All right. Only manipulators and shitheads. Right. So you're not learning to manipulate. Not some PUA bullshit, okay, or NLP nonsense. And then the other stuff is going to be very pandering to women. And that's just going to blow up in your face if you already had some shit blow up in your face due to that. But real communication, like really being able to engage her mind, really being able to massage that pussy that's inside her brain, okay? That's not taught anywhere, right? It's not easy to find. And maybe there's might be a couple of good books in there, but it not only is it important to be able to communicate in this way, but it must be backed by the right kind of mindset. You see? Because, and this is largely where the PUAs got things wrong, right? Aside from their tactics and the motivation behind their tactics, but you could be an insecure moron and learn these PUA techniques and become very good at picking up women and having sex with them through these techniques. This, however, this will make the guy feel good. It'll make you feel good because you're like, yay, I learned this skill and I'm getting the win because I prize pussy. I see pussy as a prize that I can win. All right. Because I myself are below that, right? Prizes are up here. I'm down here. Okay. So they've already, PUAs, they always had this elevation of pussy because, and whenever that's present, an elevation of pussy, it always comes from a place of a low perspective. You can't look up unless you're low, right? You only look up because you place something above you or you've gotten on the ground. That's the only way for you to look up at something, right? So this is what they've done. They've always been this way. They just got good at fulfilling the need that they had, right? And becoming this, they're basically their very own drug dealer. They're the drug dealer and the user. And they get good at it. But it doesn't solve the problem of you. So once they grow past this stuff, or say they get into a relationship due to these things, now it's like, okay, that PUA stuff, where's the place for that in a relationship? You got this far, now what? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, buddy? You can't wear your big fucking boa and your flashy sunglasses like every day in your relationship. All right? You can't use the fucking lines that you used because they're going to be repetitive. So what are you going to do? Like spend time like coming up with new fucking lines? Like what the fuck is that? In your relationship? How is that leading? It can't be, because these guys, these types of guys, they never addressed the position of self-hate, of shame, of guilt. They never took care of any of this stuff. They never replaced it with self-love, pride, appreciation, compassion. They never did any of that for themselves. So now, and I've heard stories of some of these guys who are more famous getting into relationships and they go to shit because they don't know what they're doing, because the same guy never changed over that whole time. The core self is where it's at. That's where you are. That's where the work must be done. Once that gets formulated, it's solid, and now you know where it's at. Now everything else is cake. It's just cake. Pardon me. Just cake. No, thanks, dude. What's up, Maris K? Salute, buddy. So, yeah. And real quick to my my clients who watch my show, shout out to you guys. we've been making some really good strides, really good strides. This one guy, I'm really proud of him. He was looking at divorce. He was looking at divorce. Like he did something. His old self did some stupid shit. Namely because he had nice guy shit going on. He was controlled by lust. He wasn't getting the sex that he wanted and he didn't realize it was because of him. He thought that just his wife was being a bitch and she was being cold and didn't want to fuck and all this stuff. And he needed sex in order to feel better about himself and all this stuff. So we worked through all that nonsense. And she wanted to leave him, because when he was feeling this way, he went off and like tried to, date some other girl while he was married and all this shit. Just dumb. Okay. He didn't cheat on her, but one way he did, because he did go on a dinner date, but nothing ever happened. And things have changed around. He's becoming a different man. He's becoming the man that he knows he needs to be, not for her, but for himself, because I was able to show him the stark difference. I was able to show him to himself. And he's like, oh, fuck, that's me? I'm like, yeah, bro, that's you. This is who you've been. That version of you sucks. And now he sees, because he's getting further and further apart. And the further away you are, the clearer picture you can see, because you can see the whole thing. All right. And now because of his shift, she's now shifting. Right. She's not interested she doesn't want divorce. She's like, now she's totally changed her tune. She's wanting to learn about how to be on his program while he's learning to develop his program. And she's just willing. Right. She's lighter. She's happier. She wants to have sex more often. She wants to be in his arms. And I'm just really proud of him. I'm really proud of him. And taking it to the next step. And we've gotten her a coach, a friend of mine. Actually, if you go back through my videos, it was a woman that I interviewed about submission. Her name is Rose. Really good interview if you want to check that out. It was, maybe from like a year ago or so. So I put them in touch with Rose, and I'm really hoping that they work with her as well. And we're gonna get this marriage where it should be. And so I'm just really proud of the changes. Another guy, he's doing fantastic. He's got a long distance girlfriend, and she is like all about having a DS relationship. She is all about it. So I'm like helping him learn how to kind of control her enthusiasm. All right. Because there's this thing, just a little sidebar here. There's this concept called sub frenzy. And this is where someone is new, a sub is new to BDSM, and they want to jump in with both feet first and just go straight for the deep end. And when this happens, many guys will take that and go, holy shit, like go with their enthusiasm. And before you know it, you're in too deep. You're over your head, basically, doing things that you don't have enough knowledge in, and somebody's going to get hurt either emotionally or physically. So whenever that happens, you have to actually pull back and rein it in. So this is what he learned to do, and he's setting up the structure of the relationship, the rules, and the punishments and the rewards, and he's rewarding more than punishing. So it's really good, and she's just growing right along with it. So he's developing a contract. He's gotten her a day collar. He's gotten her, and a day collar is just a representative that she can wear out and about, and it's just a collar of consideration. And then he's getting her a leather collar of consideration that's to be worn in private when she's either with him or just by herself at home. And so, developing his program in that sense, in the DS type of situation, and really proud of him, and just, a bunch of new guys who have just said, you know what, I'm tired of the bullshit that's happening in my life. And they've just jumped on board. It's been fantastic. So I'm really grateful and thankful for, all of you guys who have been supporting my channel. And I'm very grateful and thankful to my clients here who are listening that have trusted me to take you to the other side. And because now many of you are seeing, you're seeing the light, you're seeing the way, and how much sunnier it is over here. Yes, it's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more relaxed on this side. So, but anyways, yeah, I wanted to just shout out to those guys, and shout out to you guys who, even if you're not taking my training, if you're just working on yourself, you're taking yourself seriously. I think this is the best thing that you can possibly do, is take your own life seriously, take your mind seriously, because everything stems from there. All right, take your mind seriously, and take care of it. All right, it's all you got. Like, once your mind becomes poisoned, everything else becomes poisoned. Everything in your life, all of your relationships, all the relationships you have with yourself, your loved ones, your family, all of it gets fucked, right? When there's poison in your mind, all right, or a festering cancer. So, just shout out to you guys who are doing the work to follow the way and get in touch with yourself, right? So you can learn to lead yourself based on your own principles, all right? But if you want help, always, my first call is free. Get in touch with me on Instagram at thedominance.academy. If you want, you can send me an email, Justin at The Dominance Academy. And as always, go to my website, thedominanceacademy.com. I've got a free downloadable short ebook. It's pretty straightforward. It's simple, but there's some good pointers in there. But hey, it's free. And then I've got 2 ebooks, about attraction, desire, and then the newest one, which is about how to be a fantastic lover. A lot of people are downloading that, so I'm very thankful that that's being appreciated. And so yeah, go on over there, and if you have any questions, just shoot me a line. And yeah, I guess that's it. That's it for now. So we're gonna pull this one to a close. I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you watching on the replay, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Take it easy.